Yes, we are. Awesome. Yay, it worked. So I am going to close that out and we can get started. Hi, everyone in Facebook land. Happy International Book Day, International Children's Book Day. I am so excited to be here. And of course, I have my daughter here. This is Amaka. Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Amaka.
And how old are you?
10.
10 years old. She'll be 11 in June. And she saw all the preparation going in for the day and she was really excited. And she wanted to join. So here she is. And of course, we have the lovely Srividhya Venkat here with us today, the author of The Clever Tailor. Hi, Srividhya. How are you?
Hi, Bunty. Hi, Amaka.
Hi.
And hi, everyone in Facebook land. So hopefully you can hear us. Let's see. Let's make sure everything's working. And is everything working on your end?
Yes, I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see you. I can hear you. So that's great. So thank you for joining us. And you're joining us from Singapore.
That's right.
Wow. What time is it in Singapore right now?
It's 10 p.m. Getting close to bedtime.
Well, thank you. Thank you for staying up for.
Yeah, I'm delighted to be here. Always, maybe this is like a bedtime story for me to tell before I sleep. But then the other way around.
I know, and I think so. How are you guys doing in Singapore with everything that's going on around the world?
Yeah, it's things are. I mean, some people are still going to work, and so things are not as paralyzed as in many other countries. Okay. The schools are still open, but they've made like my son is in middle school, and he goes to school every other week. And the other days when he's home, he attends classes online. So they split the classroom into two groups to have fewer people, and they sit away from each other and things like that. Yeah. So it's still rampant, but again, I mean, I think it's hopefully with time it should subside. Everywhere.
Yeah. And this is a challenging time, but it's really, I mean, if you look for a bright side to everything, it's giving us a chance to all come together all over the world.
Yes.
And it's interesting how that's coming out of this challenging time.
It's really interesting, and I'm so happy that there's so many resources being made available to children who are at home.
Yeah.
And I'm amazed. I mean, I would have been excited to be a child.
And that's our purpose for doing this today, and for so the other author interviews that we've done is in a video I made this morning, our goal is to bring a bright spot into folks' day. This is a challenging time, and I know picture books make me happy. They make me smile, and so which is why I'm really excited that today you're going to be doing a live reading of The Clever Tailor. So we chose this book as our January selection. So Atlas Book Club, I should have introduced myself first. Bumia Menandra, Atlas Book Club. And we're a book subscription books company. And what we do is every month we feature a different continent. And within the continent, we feature different countries, and we send kids an age-appropriate book along with materials to immerse the child in the culture of the country featured. And for the month of January, we featured Asia. And we did The Clever Tailor as our youngest book. And my daughter Amaka, she loved this book because I loved it because of just the simplicity and the beauty in the story. So what inspired you to write this particular story?
Okay, so so this story is an adaptation of a pre-existing folktale. I'm along with writing stories. I also enjoy telling stories verbally, libraries. And that's when I stumbled upon the original folk tale, which is called The Tailor and the Button. That's one of the names. And being from of Indian origin, I said, why not have something, have the story be made into like an Indian story. And so I adapted it, and because the original story was so beautiful. I mean, but I just, this, the place where this story is set, The Clever Tailor is set, is in the state of Rajasthan. And I spent considerable years of my life growing up there. And this was like my a small giving back, way of giving back to where I grew up. I mean, I still visit, but your memories are your memories. You always remain. So that's how this just happened. And before it became a book, I told it in the libraries a lot. At different libraries around Singapore, and it was very well received. And then finally, I decided to just send it to the publisher, and it was in 2 days, which is the quickest I've ever heard from a publisher.
Wow.
Yes, they just. So, and I'm so happy the illustrator has done a beautiful job. And I mean, it's, I feel blessed that I got a wonderful illustrator, and she brought out the story, brought it to life so beautifully.
She did. She did. Yeah. And that's one of my favorite things about illustrations. Illustrations in children's books from different parts of the world, because you see the illustrators, you see how the culture influenced the illustration, and from different cultures around the world. So, and you mentioned that you grew up in one of the souvenirs that went with this book was a Rajasthani puppet. See, I didn't even know that's what influenced it. So I'll, after you're done reading, maybe I'll get a chance and I'll show that as well. But without further ado, Amaka has rapid fire questions.
Oh, okay.
So that's the one thing we do with our authors, just a way for us to learn a little bit more about you and, where you grew up and what you love and your culture, is we do something called rapid fire questions. And Amaka, I'm going to hand over to you and you can ask.
Okay, so the first rapid fire question is, what is your favorite Indian snack?
Oh, it has to be the samosa.
Oh, yeah.
Have you tried it?
Have you had samosa? The one that you haven't tried. Oh, mommy keeps all the samosas for herself. I love samosas. Yeah.
So you're familiar with it. It's a triangular deep fried snack, and it has a potato filling, and with all the Indian spices. Yeah. So you should try it out whenever you're able to step out and.
We'll get some next time we go to an Indian restaurant.
Indian restaurant, yeah.
The second question is, what is your favorite city?
Ooh, okay. This is a difficult one. Growing up, I moved around quite a bit. Like I grew up in Rajasthan. I lived in New Delhi, the capital of India, and I visited grandparents in another city, Chennai. And then I also lived in the United States for quite some time, and I still have family there. So it's really difficult. But I will go back to my point of origin, maybe Jaipur in Rajasthan. That's always remains close to my heart. But although this is a hard choice, I mean, I will pick Jaipur. Yes.
Nice. Next one.
Okay, the third question is, what is your favorite Indian tradition?
Oh, wow. All right. It has to be, every time, during festivals and celebrations, we make a design on the floor. It's called rangoli on the floor. It's like a design which is done at the doorstep, right outside your front door, maybe even on the porch. And so that it's kind of it gives a bit of color to your home and warmth when guests come in.
Oh,
that's cool.
So
that's
yeah,
really
so we do
pretty.
that more during special occasions like festivals, and I think it has to be that. Yeah.
I love that.
And last but not least, what is your favorite Indian folktale?
Folktale. There are just too many to remember. But one that I always like to tell, I'll just give you a title and a little summary about it. It's called Unity in Strength, and it's about how a group of pigeons who are trapped in a net, how they escape from a hunter who is coming to catch them.
Oh.
And it's all about, so they have to be united and flap their wings together so they can lift off and fly away with the net on them. I just find that so amazing. It's called Strength in Unity. When you team up, it's all about teamwork. You team up, you can do it.
Okay.
I love that. So when we all come together, which is even more relevant at this challenging time, there's strength in unity and strength in numbers. I love that. Thank you, Amaka. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to hand things over to you, and I know you have an interesting story that you've put together for us based on a reading of the clever Tailor. So let's see if I can do this so you can have the full screen. There you go.
All right, great. Okay, I'm going to start with the book, The Clever Tailor. All right. So Rupa Ram was a talented tailor. Everyone loved the clothes he made. That's a perfect fitting sherwani. Of course, Rupa Ram made it. Isn't this lehenga choli gorgeous? Rupa Ram has magic in his fingers. Okay, I forgot. Let me quick show this. There we go. Everyone is celebrating and praising all the clothes he makes. Though he was showered with compliments and requests, Rupa Ram was unhappy. All his life, he had stitched clothes for thousands of people, but not once for his own family. He had tried to save money to buy the best cloth available and to stitch something special for each of his family members. But that desire had remained a dream. One day, okay, did I miss this? One day, Rupa Ram was invited to go to a wedding. Now, in northern India, in places like Rajasthan, where the story is set, men must wear a turban or what is called a safa. It's kind of like an expectation and of it's the norm for to attend a grand event like a wedding. Now, Rupa Ram, all he had was an old faded safa, but he had no choice, so he just went to the wedding wearing that. But when he went to the wedding, Rupa Ram was in for a surprise. He was welcomed with a brand new safa. He was delighted to have something new to wear. He hadn't had anything new to wear in a long, long time. So even after the wedding, Rupa Ram wore his safa here. He wore it there. He wore it everywhere he went. He wore it so much that the safa began to wear out. Now, Rupa Ram was a talented tailor. We cannot forget that. So he examined the safa cloth carefully. And he realized that there was plenty of cloth left in it to make it into something useful. And it was at that point that he remembered his dream to make something special with a very special cloth. And here was the cloth. He had it right here with him. So he decided to make this, the remainder of this cloth into something for his wife. So he got to work. He took his scissors and he went cut, cut, cut. And then he used the sewing machine and he went sir, 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 sir. And when it was ready, he surprised his wife with an orni, a long scarf that she could wear with her skirt and blouse. Ruparam's wife was very happy to have a new orni to wear. She wore it here, she wore it there, she wore it everywhere she went. But one day, the orni began to wear out. And at that point, she just stopped using it and gave it back to her husband. Well, Ruparam was a talented tailor. He examined the orni carefully, and he found that there was still some fine cloth left to make it into something else. And this time, he decided to make something useful for his son. So he got to work right away. He took his scissors and he went cut, cut, cut. And with the sewing machine, he went sir, 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 sir. And when it was ready, he surprised his son with a kurta. Imagine Ruparam's son's delight. He had not had anything new to wear in a long time too. So he wore his kurta here, he wore his kurta there, he wore his kurta everywhere he went. He wore it so much that his kurta too began to wear out. So he just stopped wearing it. And he gave it back to his father. And Ruparam examined the kurta carefully. Oh dear, it was frayed here, frayed there, wearing out a lot. But there was still enough of cloth left to make this into something else. This time, he decided to make something for his daughter. So he got to work, and guess what he did? Amaka. He went cut, cut, cut. And then he went, used a sewing machine to go sir, 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 sir. And then it is ready. He surprised his daughter with a gudiya, a doll. Ruparam's daughter was delighted. She took her doll here, she took her doll there, she took her doll everywhere. And yes, in fact, she played with it so much that the doll too began to wear out. And one day Ruparam found the doll under her bed, and he wiped the dust off of it, and he examined it carefully. There was still a bit of cloth left to make it into something useful. And this time he decided it would be something for his whole family to enjoy. So he got to work right away, and he went cut, cut, cut. And because cloth was getting smaller, now the sewing machine was rather difficult to use. So he used a sewing needle, and he went stitch, stitch, stitch. And when it was ready, he surprised his whole family with a gulab, a rose flower. Rupa Ram's family was so happy. They were overjoyed to have a gulab made with their favorite cloth that had meant so much to them. And they placed it all around the house. Here, there,
everywhere. I love it.
And with time, of course, the gulab too began to wear out. Now, Ruparam examined it carefully and he found that there was still, yes, there was still a tiny bit of cloth left here to make it into something else. And this time it's decided to make it into something that everyone could enjoy. But unlike before, he did not need his scissors. He did not need a sewing machine or the needle because that something special was already ready. So he surprised everyone with a kahani, a story, the story of how he had transformed a safa into an orni for his wife, and then into a kurta for his son, a guriya for his daughter, and into finally a gulab for his whole family to enjoy. Ruparam told this kahani, this story, wherever he went and to everyone he met. And the best thing about this kahani was that it spread far and wide and didn't stop spreading at all. It never wore out. The kahani never wore out. Ruparam was such a clever tailor. So that's my story.
Oh, that was lovely. That really brought, I can't stop smiling. My cheeks are hurting already. That brought the book to life. Thank you for doing that. Yeah. Oh, and Amaka was so lovely to get. I'll show everyone. Right. The pumpkin. Yeah. Puppet. The box.
Is that a keychain or a...
So it's not a keychain. Let's see. This is about maybe 14 inches long.
Ornament? Maybe like an ornament.
Like an ornament, or they can hang it in their room and decorate their room with. So this was something that we were able to find, and it went in the kids' boxes. So thank you for sharing that. That was lovely. And I know you have another book you want to read.
Yeah, and do we have, if we have enough time, we have
time actually, because the next one doesn't start until 2 o'clock. So you get more time than everybody else.
Great. Yeah, so I did want to share one of my earlier books. I have let me quickly do a run over a couple of them, and then I just
absolutely yes.
Okay, so this was my very first book, which is my first baby, which I did for a non-profit organization, non-profit publisher in India called Pratham Books. And this is one, so this is available to read online. And I can share the details for the viewers, and there are many other books created by this same publisher, which are available to read online.
Okay.
I can share that with you, and you can share it
definitely.
with the viewers. Yeah.
Okay.
And and this was my second one, which is called Pickle Mania. This is about spicy Indian pickles. I don't know if you've had them, but they're usually very spicy. They're usually eaten as a dip to accompany the roti, the bread, or with rice and lentils, the dal. And so this girl's curiosity about pickles. Now she's grown up not being allowed to try pickles because the grown-ups of the house feel the pickles are too spicy for children.
Right.
But so that makes her even more curious because she's not allowed. And so she discovers, she pleads and pleads, and she discovers that they are spicy. And what she does about that, she says, "Oh no, that's not fair. Children should have their own pickles." So what she does about that is the story.
Okay.
I did want to go back and give credit to my illustrator here. I just remembered. Nayantara Surendranath. She's done a fantastic job with this book. I owe her so much. And this book is illustrated by Shelja Jain Chogle. And so I just want to give you a little view into look at the book here. Just a few random pictures. So she's trying the spicy pickle, but then look, that's her reaction.
Right.
And then she's eating something sweet. She's eating an Indian sweet to make up for the spiciness in her mouth. So that's what she does each time. And then I really love how Shelja did the artwork. So this is her talking to her grandmother. I need to do something. And then grandmother and the girl, they go and buy ingredients from like a fruit seller. We buy the mangoes and to make a pickle just for children. So
okay. And that folks can get that book anywhere where books are sold.
The titles. So this one is not. It's a non-profit publisher, not available on Amazon.
Russian is no fun. Okay.
Yeah, it's not available on Amazon, but again, like I said, you can read it online.
Okay.
Yeah. So this one, and this one, Pickle Mania, and the one I'm going to tell you about next. These all three are on Amazon. So if you ever, yeah. So this was that. Yeah, and then this one, Lunch Friends, it's been illustrated by the same illustrator, Shelja, who did this.
Okay.
Yeah, and so this is about a tradition, another tradition that I like, and this was inspired by my son and my mother. It's about a tradition of placing food at the kitchen window.
Oh,
and yeah, so my mother does that, and every day before lunch, before she serves everyone a meal, she places some dal rice, and dal is lentils and rice, which is a staple, very basic food that we all have. So she places a spoonful of that on her kitchen window, and there, all kinds of, there are squirrels, crows, pigeons. It attracts everyone, and they all come in. So this is what this is based on. So I just I think, I'm not sure. This is a little longer picture book.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just going to go over it a little quick. I won't read out every word, but I just.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is a reading of Lunch Friends.
Yes, Lunch Friends. So this is about a boy named Mihir and his grandmother, whom he calls Amama. So whenever Mihir visited Amama, his grandmother, he looked forward to lunchtime, not just because she made the best parpasadam, or the dal rice, but more than that, he loved Amama's tradition of placing some of the dal rice at the kitchen window. And that's when he would pick up a metal spoon and fork and ring it, bang the spoon on a metal plate. Ding, 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 ding. Crows, sparrows, sometimes even a squirrel from the huge mango tree nearby took turns to stop by for a warm, delicious meal. Amama told him that the tradition was a way of sharing and giving respect to other living beings. So just, are you able to see it properly, or am I? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mihir waited for the lunchtime visitors every day of his stay with Amama. Sure. He called them his lunch friends because while they had their lunch, he ate his own, eagerly watching them from a distance. But one summer, when he visited Amama, things were no longer the same. The mango tree was gone, and so were his lunch friends. What happened to the mango tree, Amama? More land was needed to make new buildings nearby. Several trees, including our mango tree, were chopped down. But that's not fair, cried Mihir. Now my lunch friends are without a home. I too wish they hadn't cut down the mango tree, said Amama. It had been there for so many years. Even your mom played under it as a child. Really? Said Mihir. Yes. And then Amama shows in the picture of Mihir's mother on a swing, and that's the mango tree in those days. Let's have lunch, said Amama. I don't want to eat without my lunch friends. Mihir, let me tell you a story. Once there was Amama began narrating one of her exciting tales of brave kings, enchanted forests, and hidden treasures. Mihir was so engrossed in the story, his plate was empty in no time. Ding dong! There was the fruit seller. How are you, little sir? I'm not fine, said Mihir, remembering his lunch friends. And Amama explained to Muthu why Mihir was upset. Ah, the mango tree. I often rested in its cool shade. I miss it too. Don't worry, little sir. You are small, but you can do big things. And with that, he handed Mihir a golden yellow mango. Later that afternoon, Amama was slicing the mango given by Muthu. She carefully separated the core from the pulp. Is that the seed, Amama? That's the pit. The seed is inside it. Mihir had an idea. And so he goes out and plants that seed in his Amama's garden. Amama, how long will it take for the seed to grow into a mango tree? Maybe 6 or 7 years, said Amama. But Amama, that's a very long time. My lunch friends can't wait that long for a new home. Some things take time, said Amama. Just like it will take time for you to grow as tall as me, it will take a few years for the seed to grow into a mango tree. 2 weeks later, Mihir was delighted when a tiny sapling emerged. But it was time for him to return home. Amama promised to look after the sapling. And back home, Mihir made a bird feeder that attracted several feathered friends to his window. Occasionally, he even kept dal rice for them. When he told Amama about it, she was pleased that he was continuing the family tradition. Year after year flew by. As the mango sapling grew bigger, so did Mihir. Then finally, during one visit to Amama's, his wait was over. A squirrel arrived, waving his fluffy tail to and fro. And so the animals begin coming back. I'm just going to skip over some of this.
Okay.
And then there are more birds coming. And then here he is. He's grown up now. Mihir was thrilled that his lunch friends were back. It had been a very long wait, yet it was worth it. You were right, Amama. Some things take time. See, I'm taller than you now. That's the story about the environment and also change that happens and how you can make a change. So a lot of things.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. We get 2 books in one session. I love it. Thank you, Srividhya. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for tuning in. You can get some of these books, and I'll put a post with all the information of the books. But you can definitely get the Clever Tailor on www.atlasbookclub.com. It's in our January box, along with other materials to immerse you in the culture, including, of course, this Rajasthani puppet. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, Srividhya. Stay safe.
Lovely to see you.
Stay safe, and we will see everyone else back here on the Atlas Book Club Facebook page at 2 p.m. Right. No, 2 p.m. Is that right? Yeah, that is right. 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, Srividhya.
Thank you, Bunny. Stay safe, everyone.
Have a good day. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Let me stop the live.